Hey guys, Wolvie here and welcome back to the channel. As always, the usual disclaimer. Any opinion here is mine and mine alone. So, before I get into the meat and potatoes of this particular video, which is the continuation of the mini-series, I do have a few announcements here and there, as well as some news. So, update number one, you guys noticed that I haven't really been uploading lately, and as well as filming. There is a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I am getting over a combination of a cold and a congestion. And this was happening for a very good chunk of last week. Now, I've also been dealing with exhaustion, lack of sleep, and that sort of thing, that goes hand in hand with me being sick for a good chunk of last week. Now, in addition, I am working 6 days a week at my job for the time being. Now, it is nothing permanent because it is just for the holiday rush. So, once comes next month, I should be able to resume working 5 days a week instead of 6. Now, that's been out of the way. Now, I do have some news about, streaming, all that stuff. It is going to be a bit of a delay on that again, and that's going to be until at least the summertime of 2023. The thing here is I do have to reveal certain personal aspects here, but one of my roommates, she is starting up her internship because she is in grad school, so it's like I really cannot just stream whatever I want whenever I want, so I do need a lot of equipment still, which is all going to be coming out of my own pocket. This creates a very interesting scenario because I am going to be traveling a couple of times in 2023 out of state. One for just leisure. The second time will be my second trip to Seattle. And there is a possibility I will be in attendance for the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, aka CCE2, in 2023. So I may be in attendance for that at some point. I do not know that part just yet, so it's like, I just, need to let loose a little bit, that sort of thing. But again, the C2E2 2023, that is up in the air due to when it's going to be. And for that reason alone. So, with that all out of the way, I had to do this right now. Like I said, this is part 3 of the mini-series I've been mentioning about. So, part 1 was Deadpool, part 2 was Raiden, and Raiden, for the record, it is 100% filmed. I do plan on posting it later on today. Now, with this is being part 3, this is going to be Odin. Now, before I go any further, a couple of things here and there. That's Sandy the Tabby. He is saying hi to everybody. And 2, like I said, I am getting over a congestion and cold combination, so I am not 100% just yet, so just fair warning to everybody. So this is Odin, the complete version. Now, I want to mention here that like Raiden and Deadpool beforehand, I'm not including prices for certain accessories because I feel that is 100% optional. Okay, so this is the chassis that Odin is in. This is the NZXT H510 flow. Now, do not confuse this with the H5 flow because for reasons. So, and the reason why I say this is that because NZXT did some switcheroos since, the H5, since the original H510 family, the H510 original, H510 Elite, H510 Flow, as you see here. Now, for the particular price for this particular chassis, it is okay, so it is 90 United States dollars, and it's 90 to not confuse anybody. And as always with this particular mini-series, all currencies will be in United States dollars, and that is because that is my currency because I live in the U.S. So just to reiterate really quickly here, now this particular chassis is $90. And I remember this. I know this came in black. Now this is mostly white. Now, a little bit of a spoiler for the other half of this miniseries. I am likely, I don't know as of yet. Now I'm gonna do this real quick so you guys get to see me. Okay, that's a little too big. Let's see if I can do this there, just right. So for this part right here, which is at the very front, I am debating on spray painting it my way. And by my way, you know, no sandy, just do a bit of like a white spray paint job over like this part right here. I have not decided yet. I'm going to do it white to make it look a little bit more white, but again, I don't know yet. And I'm not going to sand it because I simply don't have the tools to do so. Now, before I go on with the graphics card, I do want to mention here that in parts 1 and 2, this is the MSRP for the entire build, should you want to replicate it like to the letter. Now, some of the prices will have some degree of fluctuation, meaning that, as always, some prices you may hear are either going to be what I quote-unquote paid for it or the current MSRP, so on and so forth. So there is going to be some price fluctuation in Odin in the end here. Now, I'm also going to mention that I will not include things like the graphics card support plate, the AIO support plate, any toys, or the GPU support brackets. I will not include that in the price. So, with this particular graphics card, this is the NVIDIA RTX 3070 Ti Founders Edition. The MSRP for this particular GPU is at $600. Now, to reiterate for those of you who caught on after, like at this particular point, all currency will be in United States dollars. Just so you know, that way no one's confused. But to reiterate, the graphics card price for this particular one, that is MSRP, or the manufacturer's suggested retail price, is at $600. Now, this is my boot drive right over here. This is a Sanbrent rocking NVMe. This is a 4th gen. And it's like I said, I'm going to give credit to Zero because he actually helped me, you know, with pricing and all that stuff regarding, you know, like what parts to get for Odin. And I do want to mention here that Odin took me the longest time to build because it's like, in comparison to Raiden and Deadpool, it's like I've always had to swap out a bunch of parts with Odin. You know, I've switched out the motherboard, chassis, fans, whatever have you. I've actually had to change out a lot of stuff with Odin so many times. It's like, it's mind-boggling in the sense that I was able to get it up and running at all. But for this particular NVMe drive, it is 4th gen. This is around $130. Now, we're going to go over here, and this is a storage drive for NVMe. Now, mind you, this is not like as powerful as this one right here, but it does serve its purpose, and this is around $80. So this is the second drive I have inside the motherboard for Odin. Now we're going to go into my other two SATA 3 SSD drives in Odin. I have 2 of these, and this is the Samsung 870 EVO, and both of them in Odin are the 2 terabyte variants. So for each of these, I actually am digging in my notes here. It is $160. And you multiply that by 2 because there's 2 of these of this type. It is going to be $320. $320. Now we have here, this is the memory I have now with Odin to be up front here. I actually have 4 sticks of this very type of memory in Odin. This is the Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro. And like I said, I have 4 of these in here. Now, the grand total memory I have in Odin is 64 gigabytes. Now you can't. I mean, I do believe you can get these in 32 gigabyte sticks, but I have 4 of these, and that's 16 gigabytes sticks. So there's 4 of them. So 16 times 4 is 64. The grand total I paid for this particular kit, and again I had to buy 2 of them because it was 2 sticks per kit. It ran me $360. Now, this is the particular power supply I do have in Odin right now. This is the EVGA 850 watt P6, the Supernova family. This is 80 plus platinum. It is fully modular. It also comes with eco mode. So the price I actually paid for this particular power supply, I am looking at my notes right now. It was $129 I actually paid for this particular power supply. So this is an actual steal. Now, the quote-unquote MSRP for this is closer to the $200 to $210 range, believe it or not. But like I said, I caught this on Newegg for a steal of a price, and to be more specific, $129. Now, this is the CPU that is in Odin right now. This is the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X CPU. Now, people be like, why couldn't you get the 5950? Well, the thing is with the 5900 and the 5950X, for this particular family of CPUs, the difference between the two is very minuscule. Meaning that it's practically no difference at all, if any. So for this particular CPU, this does come with a very high degree of price fluctuation. Now, the MSRP for this particular CPU now is, let me double check my notes here. Let's see if I managed to even write this darn thing down. I don't think I did. Okay, actually, I did write this down. So, the MSRP for this right now is anywhere between $340 and around $370. So it has gone down in price, mainly because there is that 7000 family of AMD Ryzen CPUs. So that's the current MSRP. Now, the MSRP that I actually paid for this is $540, because you have to remember, the time where people buy things versus a later point in time where things don't really match up in the pricing in the sense of the MSRP. And part of that can be due to things like supply and demand, if that makes any sense, because it's like sometimes the demand is more than the supply, and other times it's the other way around where there's more supply than demand. So, and the thing is with the CPU here, this does come with the greatest fluctuation in my personal opinion. Now, this is the motherboard I have in Odin. Now, this is not the original one, mind you. So, this is the Asus ROG Strix X570E Gaming Wi-Fi 2. Now, there actually is a very small price difference between this one and the original one. And to be more specific, $20. For this particular motherboard, it is around $350. And again, just to reiterate, all the prices I explained in this video are United States currency. And the thing here with the original one of this particular type, it was around $330, although there could be some price fluctuation here as well. And again, this is the motherboard. Now, this is a CPU cooler I have inside Odin right now. This is the NZXT Kraken X63, and this is in white. Now, here's a funny story with this particular cooler. I got this off of Newegg, but I went, for like the vendor, instead of going through Newegg directly, I went through NZXT, which, worked out for me in the end. Now, before I went with this one, I was torn between this and the Z63, but the reason why I went with the X63 instead is because it's a roughly a $100 difference between the X series and the Z series. And the X series, in my personal opinion, works just as fine. And this is $185. Now, this is the last main component in Odin that I'm going to reveal here in this video. Is the Lee & Lee Uni SL120 fans. I have two of these, and they're both in white. Now, I'm going to go with the $60 for the number here, because you're talking, this came in the 3-pack, and they're roughly $30 a piece. And I went in, and so that's that on that. Regarding, the fans. Now, I was going to include one additional part here, and that's a sound card, but that does fall under a, something you could add if you want. It's not necessary. So with that all out of the way, where I'm going to go through some price, estimates. And mind you, these are before taxes, because taxes could vary from one place to the next. So that way, people can get an idea of, what to expect. Now, the lower end of the price, and this here, I'm actually looking at my notes here. So, the lower end of all of this is around $2,719. Yeah, that's pretty hefty there. Now, the price point that I paid for everything in the end here is around $2,919. So it's close to $3,000 for the entire specs. Now, granted, like I said, certain things could be more than that depending on what you decide to add onto it. It's completely up to you. Now, the other half of this mini-series, parts 4, 5, and 6, now that order is going to be completely at random. And by that, part 4 could be Odin, part 4 could be Raiden, part 4 could be Deadpool. You get the gist. So, parts 4, 5, and 6, the second half of this, will be, if I were to upgrade any of those systems within the 5-year time frame, where would I go with each of them direction-wise? And would I have to do a clean install of Windows? So that's it on that. I do have to post Raiden as well as this, to finish off the first half of this particular mini-series. Now, the next few videos I have, one of them is a product review. The other two, believe it or not, are first impressions of 2 additional products, which means that those 2 will be getting a product review in the future. I just have to, really, mess around with it to get my own opinion on that. So, I do have a product review, notes-wise, I'm almost done with that. I also have first impressions on 2 other items, because part of this channel, I do stuff like that as well, I just don't limit myself to things like video games, Ruby, computer stuff. I also go into, certain aspects of my own life, the important stuff. Alongside with items, I like to, test out or review it. So, with that, I am done with this video, and I do apologize once again. I am not 100%, well. I am getting over a cold/congestion combo. So, I am actually done with this video. So, with Wolvie here, signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.